We always talk about growth as a player and what you can learn from a past year of hockey. So was your biggest takeaway from this past season?
Yeah, I mean, personally, just wanted to focus on consistency, just being somebody that has an impact every night, somebody that's getting noticed every night, and I mean, as a team, yeah, that growth is huge. You see it, from the start of the year. We're a young team that came in and it took a while to kind of find our own and kind of hit a rhythm, and by the end of the year, we have a full roster of guys that seemed up to speed and ready to compete in the American League. So I mean, yeah, in terms of growth, it's a big year for us, just kind of watching a lot of guys leave after last year and having a lot of guys come in and get their footing and establish themselves in this league and begin to have, a serious impact.
One of the things we've talked about over the course of a few years now is this idea of integration and always guys, the next group bringing in the new guys, and that's obviously something you've continued. So how is that? Again, the mindset is bring these guys in, make them a part of it, because again, it doesn't happen with every team, but with this Moose team, it just seems to year after year be the kind of the mantra.
Yeah, I think when you see the effectiveness of it yourself as somebody who's being brought in and somebody who's brought up to speed, quickly and welcomed with open arms, you see the importance of it. And I mean, especially with, yeah, like you said, how many guys we had on the way out last year and how many guys that needed to be brought in and get up to speed as quickly as possible this year. You really see the importance. And I mean, it's a quick way to kind of, jump over any roadblocks and you know, it's going to be year after year kind of the same thing. And if you can, show the importance to young guys, that they'll kind of pay that forward in the future, and they'll continue that kind of welcoming approach. And yeah, I mean, it's such a big aspect of how the team operates and extremely important for how we do throughout the season. I mean, yeah, it's just something that you see it work, and it's kind of rinse and repeat. And when you have great guys welcoming you in, it makes it easy to welcome guys in the future.
I'm not going to call you a Winnipegger just yet, but you've spent some time now in Winnipeg. What have you gotten to know about the city and during your time here?
It's the passion for hockey. I mean, you see it through all levels. I mean, rarely is it just one team getting talked about. It's all three of us. It's the Jets, it's the Ice, it's the Moose. It's a community, and people are all in. I mean, it's a great place to play. You feel valued as a team, and you feel like you got a lot of support. And I mean, I like being in Canada. It's nice. Being from Toronto, just outside, it still feels like home.
No, it's very hard to just quickly look back at a playoff series because it is so fresh in the mind. But if you could just take us back to the 5 games that you guys played, and again, against Milwaukee, you guys were in it pretty much every single game. Obviously, the first game was a little bit of a outlier, but just from your perspective, how close was that, and how hard is it for this group too? Because you guys were close, and again, you could have obviously won that series very easily.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's playoffs, right? Like, we came out there that, one of, I guess, the biggest takeaways we can have is, there's really no regrets. I mean, everybody was all in. Everybody played as hard as they could. Everybody, wanted that same outcome. I mean, at the end of the day, they're a good team too. They played well. Every game was, other than game one, every game was tight. And obviously we felt like we could still be playing right now. Probably felt like we deserved to still be playing right now. But yeah, in terms of takeaways, I mean, playoffs is a great time of year to gain experience, whether it is just 5 games or teams that go further. But yeah, it's an awesome time of year. It's a lot of fun, and yeah, I think hopefully guys can take away from this that every series is going to be tough. It doesn't matter if it's the first round, and hopefully guys can come to appreciate just the importance of every game in playoffs and really how impactful that can be on a career, kind of that experience.
What's been most memorable for you this season? Like, as you kind of reflect on the season that was, what do you think when you look back to this season, that you're going to remember, whether it be fondly or disappointingly?
Yeah, let's stick with fondly. I just love the guys, man. Like, we just have such a great group. It's hard every year when you don't know who's coming back, but yeah, you just kind of try to appreciate the moment, especially, yeah, like I said, not knowing if the team's going to be structured the same way next year. But yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. It was a great year.
So you're talking about, not taking it for granted there just a second ago. We were talking to Jimmy, who you played with a long time. He had the injury this year, and he said just that was his takeaway of just not taking it for granted. What is it like playing with a guy, a captain like Jimmy? You've had some experience with him. What can you say about him that makes him, a very valuable part of this team?
He's got so much experience, and he's got time for everybody. He's for how long he's been in this league, his approach to leadership is pure service. Like he shows up ready to serve people every year, right? And he's a guy who, it doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter how many games you've played, it doesn't matter if it's your first year here, if it's your 10th year here, he's showing everybody the exact same respect, and he's raising that level in our locker room, year after year. He makes that the standard. He makes that respect and that appreciation for teammates the standard, and it's something that that really contributes to that welcoming approach for young guys. It's something that is basically a catalyst in terms of our success, because we're starting the year, already as a cohesive unit, and it's mainly due to his approach.
To see him win the AHL Man of the Year and the way it was presented, being able to share with his team, a bit of a surprise. What was that moment like for you to see your friend get that recognition league-wide?
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, it's like you almost assume that every captain across the league must be doing the same thing, because he does such a great job at it. You're just like, oh, this is what a captain is. Like, this is how a leadership role is held, and obviously it's different everywhere, but I mean, it makes so much sense. Like, it's his same approach to how he enters the locker room is how he enters schoolrooms or community centers. He's always involved, and he's showing that same respect. And it was awesome to be in the room when everybody found out, because everybody was just so excited for him. Everybody was so happy to see, his efforts be recognized, and he doesn't do it for any recognition. That's the amazing thing, and yeah, it's awesome having a guy like that kind of leading our locker room.